Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning LaLa. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm GMLA. This is Good Morning LaLa, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
And it is hashtag Transformation Tuesday. We're going to talk about the benefits of living like you're dying. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, align with universal law, and have some great conversations with some epic human beings.
Yes, love the topic.
Right?
You're coming up with these themes, Dr. Erin. I have to admit, you really are.
Life happens.
Yes.
Life happens. I'm reading a great new book, by the way, on Transformation Tuesday.
Ooh.
Really about birthing the idea, making it into a business, and like Netflix, a $150 billion business. And he was told that will never work. Even after he got the funding,
Wow.
they still said it will never work. So I'm really excited about this book. Totally prompted by Rob Mack Official over here, who sent me a great article.
It was a great article, right? And then
Yeah.
Andy followed it up with a clip.
Andy followed up.
Executive producer.
Exactly. I'm following it up with the book.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Right, and
Absolutely.
EverTalk is all about basically a talk network, right?
That's right,
Yeah.
live streaming show.
The Netflix of talk. Yes, so we're very excited about that around here. And we're very excited to welcome our very special guest today. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Oh, we're all going to need a little more coffee. What was that? My word. Well, thank you so much to each of you for being with us. We've got Corey Lefkowitz, right? Give it
Yep.
to me.
That's right, it's Lefkowitz.
Yes.
Lefkowitz.
It's almost like you're lisping a little bit.
Yes, helping us rediscover our strength this morning on Transformation Tuesday. So tell us a little bit about how you start your day and what your morning routine is.
Well, I'm lucky enough that I get up whenever I want. I don't really have to set an alarm. I value sleep a lot, and I get to go on a walk with Kiwi and my husband Ryan. So it's a nice, easy, relaxing start to my day.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. I value sleep a lot too. Right?
Yes, you need
So
it.
underrated.
You need the 8 hours.
Yes, it's so underrated.
Love that. Good morning. Welcome to the studio.
Hi.
Hi. Take a minute to introduce yourself and tell us how you start your day.
I'm Sandra McCarran. I'm the founder and CEO of The Collective Child, and I start my day usually with a long 5K run right along the Brooklyn Water.
5K, love that. Did you run cross country in high school or no?
No, I'm not particularly fast or run for that long, but it clears my mind and it sets the tone for the day. So
Yeah, there's nothing like that runner's high, huh?
yeah.
Making that startup a success. She is truly disrupting the luxury shopping industry, by the way.
Can't wait to talk to her.
Oh, exactly. Good morning. Stacey Newton is in the house. She is a script writer and an author. We're talking Angels Survive this morning. Good morning.
Yes, hi, I'm Stacy, and I always start my day with lots of coffee and journaling. Since I'm a writer, that's how I start my days. I write everything that's happened the day before and the night and my thoughts for what I'm going to do for the day.
Fantastic. So it's like a free association writing that you do?
Yes, definitely, and I do it at least for 15 to 20 minutes every day, and then I'll do some yoga, stretches, but usually I like to stretch my mind.
Oh, love that. A little cognitive agility.
Yes,
All right.
exactly.
Jason Buchema is in the house. He is the founder of Wet Travel and hosting Groove Island on Catalina this weekend. Good morning.
Good
Woo!
morning.
We're so excited to know all about Groove Island, but how does an entrepreneur like you start his day? What's your morning routine?
Well, it's changed recently. So I was living in Bali for 3 months recently and just got back. And while I was there, I went to a joy shop with a friend, Nitya from India. And he gave an example of a lotus flower. And you basically close your fingers in the morning and then you open it and give each finger something that you're grateful for. So then I think about the 10 things that I'm most grateful for as soon as I wake up.
Oh, that's great.
Love
that.
And what are one of those things this morning?
I'm grateful for all of you and for having me on the show.
Didn't even have to pay you for that. There you go. That's what's up, man.
And yes, I did actually. Yes.
Anybody that spends 3 months in Bali, I know is one of my dear friends. I'm just like, no.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right? Like family to you.
Yeah, totally.
Connected. Dana B. Myers is in the house. She is the author and founder of The Satisfied Mama. Good morning.
Morning, good morning.
And we want to know all about Mojo later in the show. But first, tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
I start my day basically by getting tackled by my 2 children. And so I start my day early between, 6 and 6:30. They wake me up with hugs and snuggles and demands for breakfast. And then I start hustling them and getting them ready for school. but I also get on my yoga wheel and immediately stretch out my back.
That's awesome. I've heard of love tap, but never the love tackle.
Oh, it's a
amazing.
tackle.
Wow.
My boy's name is Rocky, and he earned his name. He really did.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us today on #Transformation Tuesday. We look forward to continuing the conversation with each of you later in the show.
Right.
Fantastic.
So I have to share a breakthrough.
Yes.
I've had in my life the last 2 weeks. You know, I always think like, is there going to be another breakthrough? I miss those days when I'd have all the breakthroughs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So over the last 2 weeks, between the retreat and between teaching at 2 of Nick Pigeon's retreats, I've been doing the subconscious process in front of groups. So I've never done that before. I've done it for years with clients and CEOs and celebrities and training girls and single moms and all the above. I've never done it in front of groups.
Oh, yeah.
So I've just been doing it a ton the last 2 weeks, and it is profound how much the other people are receiving it and the breakthroughs they're having just by witnessing it. And so I just have this huge breakthrough in kind of more of like, I guess, purpose and calling, you
Yeah.
could say, like around just the level of work and doing it in a different way that I've never done it before.
That's fascinating because I think some things are done really well in a group setting and some things are done better sort of in
Right.
an individual one-on-one setting. Do you find that you feed off the group?
Well, that was the thing. I used to
Yeah.
do either one-on-one sessions or I do group sessions of just kind of more spiritual transformation coaching.
Yeah.
But I've never done the sessions in front of groups. So I think the point is, like, for all of us, is that whatever we do, whatever the gifts, because you guys have so many gifts.
So many.
Like to,
So many.
to consider doing them in a new way that you've never done them,
Yeah.
because it may be received by the universe that you never knew possible.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like a different way of expressing
Yeah,
the
different
same
way of
gift.
expressing the same gift. And I
Yeah.
know that, like, for you guys have so many gifts, you know.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
don't know what that is
it's
exactly.
interesting
but-
you say that because I think of all of us as sort of coming in from two different angles. I'd say that you and I, Erin, come from a coaching angle, and then we do entertainment. And Jez traditionally come from an
Right.
entertainment background, and she does coaching, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I do one-on-one sessions, which has been really interesting for me because I never thought of myself really as a mentor or a coach.
Yeah.
I do what I do quite naturally, whether it's from the runway to the red carpet or sitting here with you in the studio, but I never really recognized that innate talent could connect and help and serve somebody else who might struggle communicating their feelings.
Yeah.
So that's been a really exciting revelation to me.
For sure,
super cool.
exactly, right?
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, it's almost like an alchemy. We don't know if it's like a concoction of like,
Yeah.
what else if we put it together, what will it
Well, it's
do?
funny because I think that's the entire work, right? Like, so whether it's psychology work or spiritual work or business work, at the end of the day, it's like taking these very complex and sometimes complicated systems or ideas and breaking them down into something that's digestible and practical
Totally.
and applicable. But it's really about simplifying all of that, right? And so whether you do it through entertainment or whether you do it through coaching, it's really the same work.
Yeah, or finding your sweet spot,
Yes.
wherever that is.
Exactly.
Totally.
And continuing to learn, even when they say that idea will never work.
So tell us about, have you began to read it?
Oh, I'm not only on page 58, but so far
That's
it's
pretty good.
absolutely genius, and I feel super connected. I'm really excited. If you've read this book, I'd love for you to share any of your favorite highlight moments because I want to spend extra time with that.
I want you to give us a highlight, because I don't have time to read that book right now, but I really want to hear about it. So I'm hoping
I'll
you'll bring
keep
us
you
in.
posted.
Okay, good.
I haven't read the book, but I did see some of the interviews and I read a couple of the articles. And one of the things that Mark Randolph has said that I absolutely love is that there's no such thing as a bad idea, and nobody can tell you that it's a good or bad idea, right? You can see that through time. Only time
Right.
will reveal that.
Right.
And
So-
they'll tell you, even though.
Yeah, they will tell you. Yeah, they just don't necessarily be right.
I remember one of my dear friends, very, very successful, roaming around on jets and everything, and he goes, ideas are worth about $1. There are that many ideas. It's in the,
I don't even think they're worth $1.
Yeah,
man.
right?
2 cents.
But putting them into action, implementing it, and following through, that's where the real,
Yeah.
stuff happens.
They
right?
valued their idea for Netflix at $3 million.
Yeah.
Just the idea.
It's incredible, right? I mean, it's amazing when you look at your life, I look at my life, and I think about all the things that people have told me, and there have been lots of gems in there, but so many things people told me that I couldn't do or that I would need to do A, B, and C before Z could happen,
Yeah.
I realized was total, it was a lie.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't necessarily true. Have you discovered that? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's people like
you're
back
like,
in the
too.
day, like, oh yeah, you're doing what? Yeah, that's cute. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're like, oh, good luck with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then over the years, like, oh, you're actually serious about this
Yeah.
stuff, right? And you're like, now it's a bestseller. Oh, it was just, like, people, they can't see it.
Yeah.
They can't see your vision. They can't see what's going on, and you just gotta do it.
I love that point. I heard this interview and he said something really interesting. Essentially he was saying, and he's repeated the story many times. He said that when he was just starting to rap and put things on paper, he presented something that he had created to his uncle, and his uncle was like, he listened to the whole thing, and then his uncle was like, oh man, you'll never be better than L Cool J. And of course, and I love LL Cool J. I've worked with LL Cool J for LL Cool J. And what's funny about that is that, of course, Jay-Z is like one of the greatest rappers of all time, and he's one of the most successful and profitable. So it just goes to show nobody really knows.
Well, I think you want to surround yourself, though, around people that truly believe that you can do anything you want to do. And if they don't believe in you like that, then
prove them wrong.
Then that's right.
That's why I do this show right here.
So speaking of Transformation Tuesday, that's been a big transformation for me. And then also just, I have a question for you guys. Like if you were getting, you know, we've had a lot of psychics on the show, and there's astrologers across the globe that get trained in astrology. There's a science behind it. So I want to ask you this. If they told you or somebody you knew was going to transition or die, would you want to know?
In terms of the time frame.
In terms of,
they're gonna say, it's like tomorrow, it's like next week.
Would you want to know?
Wow, great question.
I wouldn't want to know, but I do think that there's a blessing in knowing. And sometimes we receive information that we're not meant to have, that we didn't ask for, and it's up to you to handle that information, however you're going to process and make peace with that. But I wouldn't want to know.
Yeah, and I think there's a sort of like underlying premise here that is worth exploring, which is like, can they really know?
Right?
It's like 100% accuracy.
Do we not have free will?
Right.
Is there not like pure potential ahead of us?
Exactly. Like there's nothing I feel 100% about. I don't feel 100% about my own name. Right? Like honestly, if you were to put me to the test and like, you know, you have to sell everything if you're wrong about this, I would like, there's probably 0.001% that my name isn't my name. Right?
It better be your official.
Yeah,
but 100%.
Yes, right. But I think I think it's different for each person. But I do think I've been contemplating this, and I feel like I don't think I would want to know personally, but I do feel like I want to live as if everyone's going to die in the next 3. If we knew everyone was going to die in 3 months, how much would we shift our relationship with each person? And that's how I believe we should be living.
So you know we had Christine Carlson on the show, right? And her late husband, Richard Carlson, who wrote Don't Sweat the Small Stuff and Shortcut Through Therapy and all these books. Well, they wrote a book together, and it was called 24 Hours to Live, 24 Hours to Live and 24 Hours to Love, something like that. And it was based on that principle, and it's one of the most beautiful, it's a tiny book, one of the most beautiful books I've ever read.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I call it death meditation, and it's really pretending like you're on your, deathbed, and what amends do you need to make? What would you want to say to people, whatever? And so I think there is a blessing in living like you're dying or like someone else is dying. Yeah. And but I think it's an interesting question to ponder, and I don't feel like it's an ethics. Personally, as someone who can read energies or whatever, I would not tell somebody if somebody in their life was going to pass away personally.
Well, I mean, because you've got to deal with because there is such placebo effect, nocebo effect. How much of this is now going to be behavioral confirmation, a self-fulfilling prophecy? I mean,
we call it implantation.
There you go.
Yep.
Right.
So on that note, it's your free will, your free choice. Be careful when you go to a psychic. That's what I say. Be careful what you
and we love our psychics.
No, yeah, exactly. So stay tuned. We'll be right back talking to some great guests we have today. Stay tuned.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jezza Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
I'm so excited to be here on the couch with all you amazing people. I'm just in complete awe. Thank you.
Happy to be here. And for those who don't know what goes on, this is a big old, there's a lot going on here. You do this every day.
Live.
God bless you guys. I mean, people, there's a lot going on.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I feel that, actually. I can feel that.
How exciting Motivation Monday. And the guests this morning have been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
And we have Rachel Boston, who is in The Last Bridesmaid on Hallmark. It actually is dropping tomorrow, the 22nd, right?
It is. Tomorrow night's our premiere.
Woo!
Congratulations! I'm so excited to welcome Jason and Ashley Waller to the show. Congratulations on the new beginnings. We're so excited for the premiere on MTV tonight.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The book is actually being shipped out today. It published this week.
Congratulations!
You guys are the first show that I've actually done talking about the book.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Our friends at Universal Pictures have a special delivery for us this morning from a tethered himself.
Ooh.
Have you seen the film Us by Academy Award winner Jordan Peele?
You know, I'm sitting here next to you guys, and it's just like, this is a powerful moment for me. Like, I'm humbled by it, because it's like, I'm sharing this movie with you guys, and it's moving for me.
What are you most grateful for today?
I am so grateful to be here and to have the opportunity to be with all these wonderful, badass boss babes and with all of you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to share the positive messages out in the world, because I think the world really needs it right now.
What we've done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
and I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born. Now,
Show the camera.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
That's why I like this show. You know, years ago I did the Dinah Show, which is Dinah Shore, and it was a daytime show. And it was kind of like this. It was just like very up, and it was all positive stuff. They didn't bring negative stuff to the audience. And that's what I feel with this show. It's very relaxed. You know, it's very professional, but it's quite a bit of fun.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch. You can binge watch.
And binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
First TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
That will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning, LaLa. On Transformation Tuesday, a lot of us want to transform our fat into energy. Corey is in the house. She's going to help us do just that. You are a fitness guru, a weightlifting master. You are a Division I tennis player. I mean, you're the expert. Tell us how to transform that fat.
Thank you. I try and be the expert. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly growing. I think the biggest challenge we have is that we don't have enough time, right? There's so many things going on with our life. We need to fit in our workouts around our busy schedule, because otherwise we'll make the excuse. So all of my workout programs are always based around fitting it in. No matter whether or not you have 5 minutes or 15, I want you to have the options. So the first thing is not making that excuse that you're too busy and finding a way.
I have a question about that, because for me, when I woke up in the morning and I was working out first thing, I didn't feel great.
Really?
Is there a certain time of day that works best for everyone, or is it kind of dependent on everyone?
It's very dependent. I always get asked, is there a magical time of day that will make me lose more fat? And it's really what works for your schedule, because the more that we work around what our needs are, what our schedule is, when our body even works best, the better results we can get, the more consistent we can get. Because part of getting in a routine and getting results is consistency. And if we can't be consistent because we're working out at the wrong time and you feel really bad, we're not going to get results.
I agree, Jazz. It's the same with me. Like my most creative times in the morning, and then you've got the sweat factor. So then I would prefer to work out in the afternoon, but then I'm already, all made up for the day and doing work, and then it's like to stop, sweat, and then have to take another shower. This is the quandary. This is the quandary we go through, right?
She's made it so we can fit it in anywhere. So tell us about this DVD program.
So my burner DVD is all 5-minute workouts, and I have some clients that sometimes combine them for 10 to 15 minutes, or sometimes if they're just busy, they do 5. And for me personally, I like working out in the morning, because then I'm done and I don't have to worry about it. Because I know if I'm doing work and then I'm getting tired over the course of the day, at the end of the day, I'm not going to do it. I have clients that are like, oh, I get home and then I don't feel like going back out. The good part about the DVD is it's all body weight. You can do it at home. So that's
and in
amazing.
5 minutes.
Yep,
there
5 minutes.
are no excuses for this.
And if you have more time, you combine some to get a full body workout.
What about exercising or working out like on an empty stomach? So that was a huge thing for a long time. Is it still a thing, or?
Fasting is still very popular, and working out fasted is great if it works for you. I always tell clients, match your meal timing around what your needs are and what you feel best with. Because if you're going to be low energy because you didn't eat, that's not going to work out well. So I like working out fasted just because I find that I'm working out first thing in the morning, I have my coffee, I'm energized, I'm ready to go. That works best.
I always feel better working out like on Sour Patch Kids. Is that wrong?
Well, I guess
sugar?
we get into like simple carbohydrates being good fuel, but you know, probably not the best quality energy source possible.
Yeah, totally.
So what are the workouts? What can we expect?
So the DVD is all body weight. I also have my cards, and those are more weight training and everything. I'm very focused on injury prevention. So you guys were talking about, you know, if you knew in 3 months you were going to die, like how would you live? And I think sometimes we treat our bodies like we're going to die in 3 months, and we don't think about long-term effects of that. So what ends up happening is we get injuries, and we push through those injuries, and then we don't ever take time to regress and rehab. So with these different workouts, I do foam rolling, stretching, and activation. And what that does is it helps you move better and feel better. It gets rid of those aches and pains. You know, if you're sitting in your car, especially in LA, you know, you're driving those long commutes, you're sitting in your car, you get tight, right? And so we want to loosen everything up. We want to make your body feel good. We want to think about, like, if you're living longer than 3 months, are you going to be able to live a quality life?
Yeah.
So what if I don't have a DVD? None of my platform. Does it kind of get it digitally?
Yes, you can get it digitally. That was actually one of the things when people were asking for DVDs. I was like, who has a DVD player anymore? I don't even think my computer has like a DVD slot. So they all are digital as well.
Okay, good.
Love that. So I think most people know about stretching, but what's the value in sort of foam rolling and the activation?
So foam rolling is self-myofascial release. It's basically like getting a really cheap massage. So you can do it daily with just a tennis ball at home, which is the really nice part. And what it does is it helps the muscle relax and release itself so that you can then stretch. Because if you're stretching a muscle with a knot, it's kind of like pulling a shoelace tight, right? The knot just gets tighter. It doesn't actually relax and release. So you start with the foam rolling, then you go into the stretching, and then it's activation. And activation is like that sort of weird thing where you're thinking about the muscle working. So if muscle is underactive, say your glutes, because you sit a lot and your hips are tight, then what you're doing is you're establishing that mind-body connection so you can actually feel the muscle working when you go run, when you go lift, and it helps prevent injury.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Love that.
Thank you for all this insight, Corey. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you and get your workout program.
Everything is at Redefining Strength, and it's redefiningstrength.com.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Corey.
for having me on.
Yeah. Be sure to stay tuned. Coming up next, we've got a great interview with the founder of Wet Travel. Jason Buchema is in the house. We are gearing up for Groove Island happening this weekend in Catalina.
There he is.
Stay tuned. Hi. Representing. We'll be right back.
That's how we do it. This is how we do it.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
We all crave connection. I'm a big fan of videoing a podcast.
The impact that I'm having people on a podcast is I'm having more impact on those people than I ever did in news.
We want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Podcasts. I understand they are red hot.
It's actually remarkable how scary to me podcasting is. Everybody should have a podcast.
I really wondered why. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody has done this in other arenas.
We have to change the conversation to happiness over financial success. It was like, we have to. We have to.
Honestly, it was meeting new people who had already heard about what we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh, nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
You can binge watch.
And binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch. You can binge watch.
And binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
That's right. Good Morning La Land is going to be live this Friday from Groove Island on Catalina Island. And we have got the founder himself, Jason Buchema, into the house. Jason, this is going to be epic.
I agree.
But to no surprise, because for the past, 15 years, you've thrown some of the best parties across the globe.
Thank you.
Tell us about Wet Travel.
So I started it 15 years ago as a dream I had a dream to charter a cruise ship, which is around 2,000 people. I didn't have any money, I didn't know anybody in the cruise industry, but I had a dream of what it would be like to charter a whole cruise ship. And created a business plan to do that in 5 years. It took me 7, and chartered my first cruise ship. And I actually did 3 events in Catalina during that time, in 2013, 14, and 15, and I fell in love with the island. It's so beautiful, and I love the people there that I worked with, and I always had this dream in that time to do a full-blown experience on Catalina, because it was such a teaser to bring a cruise ship there and be there from 9 to 5 and do something there. So I wanted people to really experience the island.
360 degrees of it, right?
Yes, exactly, to experience the whole island. So that was the vision of it, and it was created many, many years ago, and a few things happened, and the Catalina Island Company was gracious enough to host us and the island and the city, and it all kind of came together to be able to finally do it this year.
So what can people expect?
They can expect music, so there's a lot of music going on. Dance music, we have comedy, we have a magician from America's Got Talent, we have activities, excursions. Costume parties, yes.
I mean, that's one of the best parts about these cold groove experiences, right? Are the costumes. People are really embracing this.
Well, we need to know about this, because if we're going to be going over there, we're trying to get prepared. So what do we need to get prepared for?
So the one that I think is the one that I'm excited about is 100 years ago, Mr. Wrigley from Chicago bought the island of Catalina, and during that time...
Wrigley Fields.
Of Wrigley Field. And the Chicago Cubs actually used to do their spring training there for 30 years. Marilyn Monroe used to live on Catalina. The history in Catalina is incredible. And it happens to be this year, it was the 100 years from when he originally bought the island, and he built the casino, which is the world's largest circular ballroom, to be able to host big bands during the time, the popular music of that time. So in essence, we're kind of bringing what his original vision was for the island, was the popular music of that time. We're bringing the popular music of this time to the island, just as he did 100 years ago.
Fantastic.
Who are some of the artists you're most looking forward to seeing at Groove Island?
All of them. But my favorites, our headliners are Oliver Heldens, Sam Feld. Oliver just played at Life is Beautiful this past weekend in Vegas. Sam Feld. I love underground music as well, so Chus and Ceballos and Anthony Atala. And Mark Knight is one of my favorites. He's from Tool Room Records in the UK. So they're artists from the Netherlands, UK.
It's got to be stressful. I mean, what's the business? I mean, kind of
right?
It's like getting 100 people to an event. It's like, this is a whole. What is it like? How much time does it take you to put together something like this?
Generally, we have a year to put it all together. So for the cruises, we're looking at 2021 now. But for this event, we got approved in February, I think. So it's been a bit of a condensed time frame. However, we are estimating around 4,000 people that'll be there throughout the weekend. So it's
Where
definitely.
do they stay? They don't even have 4,000 rooms.
They have around.
There's a boat and a helicopter.
That's
right. Exactly.
I forgot.
It's going to be a serious EDM fest. You know, Jason, though, one of the things, though, that I really admire about the Wet Travel Company is the foundation. Can you speak to that a little bit?
So since I started the company, I've always had a component to give back and to give money to charity, percentage of funds to charity. And I got the feeling that the money wasn't going to the end user, which was the kids in Africa that have lost their parents to AIDS. And I wanted to create something where 100% of the money donated that's given to the 501c3 that we have called Wet Foundation goes to the actual end user. So we've worked with orphanages in Mexico and Jamaica and so forth like that. And actually we have programs in Miami as well. And we really work to excite their life. So wet is that an actual word? WHET means to excite or to stimulate in the dictionary. So that's what we do with these kids. We've actually brought kids from an orphanage on a cruise ship before. And I remember, I'll never forget this. There were 20 of them, and you can't even take photos of them because they're all protected. And we were able to get Carnival Cruise Lines to approve it. Brought them on the ship. They were freezing because they'd never felt air conditioning before. They were freaking out in the elevator because they'd never been in an elevator before. And then they're sitting at the table to eat, and they're like, "Why do I have 3 forks?" And just really, really simple things that we just kind of take for granted. And it was very humbling, for sure. So we're so lucky and grateful to live the lives that we do. And I think that and giving back is when you're most alive inside. So I'm always very,
so good.
Have that mindset, a service mindset. And the whole business of wet travel is all about service and just giving back and
it's all about partying. What are you talking about? So are there tickets still available? How do people get tickets?
Yes, there are. So if you go to grooveisland.com, there's tickets available. All the hotels on the island are sold out, however, except for we have a handful of hotels behind the scenes for packages, so people that buy packages. Or people can bring their boats over. You can take a helicopter over there.
Come for the day really and you can come back, right?
Sure, yeah. So we have day tickets, so you can come in, come out. That isn't what I like. I like people to experience the full weekend because that's kind of what it's all about, and that's how you build relationships, and that's how you will get the most out of the weekend. But if you want to dip your toe in and come out, that's fine too.
Well, please tell everyone where they can get more information about Groove Island.
Absolutely, on grooveisland.com.
Right. And where can they find and follow your personal journey?
I'm Travel Jason.
Travel Jason.
On Instagram and Facebook.
So excited.
Spot on brand.
So we'll be there Thursday and Friday night. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to having you. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in live on Friday because we will be at Groove Island on Catalina. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jez Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
That will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa on Transformation Tuesday. A lot of us need to transform and get our mojo back, and we have Dana Myers in the house. She is a love, sex, and relationship expert. She is founder of Satisfied Mama,
and Booty Parlor.
And Booty Parlor. She's got all the mojo, anything you need today. We got it going on here, and author of the Mama Mojo Makeover.
Hi.
What's up, sister? How are you? I like
I'm
your
full
hair.
of mojo today.
Your hair has some mojo. We like
the hair has a lot of life.
How do you tap into your mojo?
I think it's different for everyone. And as a mom of 2, I think the way to do it is really in small daily actions, right? Because we don't have a lot of time, maybe as we used to when we were just married or even single.
I read a statistic that there's only 17 minutes of personal time for a new mom.
It's really tough. It's really tough. So it's really in little bites that you can cultivate your own sensuality. And it's as simple as, even when you're going out to the grocery store, noticing things in a different way, right? So maybe you're in the produce section, but instead of just picking carrots to steam and puree for your baby, you just wander into a little fantasy. It's not, it may sound silly, but it really is about transforming the mundane and the routine into something that becomes a sensual input. So that's one really simple way to kind of reclaim your mojo when you still have so many things to do.
So interesting. So,
Wow!
yeah.
Stairs.
They're speechless.
I could have gone really far with that one, but I'm not going to right now. Okay.
Funny example, but it's true. You know, dancing for 5 minutes, right? Doing some hip circles,
Yeah.
just sort of bringing some energy and life right into your body where it counts. It's another really simple way.
I just remember being so exhausted as a mom. Like, it was like,
it's brutal.
Sorry, the mojo's going to have to wait for a few years.
So here's the thing with that. It does kind of have to wait for a few years. And now my kids are a little bit older, 6 and 9. But if you wait too long, if you don't nurture your sensuality and your relationship while they're really little, it's like this uncomfortable distance can enter your relationship. And it can really become this massive wedge so that when you look up, maybe your kids are now 3 and 5.
It's called a divorce. I had one of those.
Then you're facing, like...
It's not fun, yeah.
Then how do we get back,
Yeah,
right? So if you can nurture it just a little bit during the really difficult years, it's not so hard to really bring it back when things start to lighten up with the kids.
So interesting. So what initially led you to this as a career path?
Yeah, well, I used to be in the music business, but I was always really passionate about all things love and sex and beauty and just kind of feminine empowerment. And 15 years ago, I thought, you know, there's no place to buy great things to make me feel sexy. That experience just felt dirty, right? The industry's changed a lot. So I thought, let me start my own brand. And I started Booty Parlor as a way to bring beauty and sensuality and confidence and creativity and in sex together. And we launched the brand. We've been around for 15 years now. Then I started workshopping with women, doing live workshops, online workshops. I started writing books, and now I deliver the message in online courses. Then I became a mom, and that's really where my mojo tanked for the first time in my whole life. And I thought, this is not okay with me. Like, this is not how I want to live my
Beyond
life.
just the bedroom, though, your mojo can affect every area of your life.
Absolutely, it's so connected. I think if you feel empowered to express yourself in the bedroom, you're gonna feel empowered to express yourself in the boardroom or at the PTA meeting or at the grocery store when you have to ask for something. You know, it's all connected, and feeling confident in your desires and needs, you know, as you go about your day, as you go about in your relationship, it affects all your relationships.
So when you got your mojo back, what was the first way you witnessed your life transforming?
Oh my God. Well, the resentment really started to melt away in my relationship, right? You have a baby, you're so in love with this person, then you have a baby and you're like, I hate you now. I literally hate you now.
So awesome.
You know, and you don't expect it because you love this person more than anything and you've created life with this person. But the workload, the exhaustion, the sleep deprivation, it changes you, and it opens this space for resentment to creep in your relationship. So when I started taking my mojo back, getting my me time back, nurturing myself as a sensual woman who had become a mother, opening up my communication in my relationship again, then the resentment started to melt away, our romance started to come back together, and we kind of got on the same team again, and then really started to expand our relationship within this new framework of parenting.
I love
Fantastic.
that.
Yeah.
So of course you mentioned the imagination piece, and of course, you know, in order for people to get the whole, you know, kit and caboodle, they have to check out an online course or a workshop or whatnot, or a book.
Yeah.
But what other tips would you recommend to people to get their mojo back, whether it's, you know, at home, in the bedroom, or out in just life in general?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, looking for sensual inputs wherever you go, especially for moms, taking one night a week to skip out on the exhausting dinner time, bath time, bedtime, get them in, you know, brush their teeth. It's so exhausting. If you can pass that responsibility off to anyone, just once a week, go out in the world and just experience yourself as a woman in the world. Go window shopping, go to a bookstore, go to a yoga class. Just give yourself even 2.5 hours, just be yourself and experience yourself. It's remarkable what a turn on freedom is. It's just a little dose of freedom, and suddenly you remember, like, oh, I'm a sensual woman in a sensual body. I have freedom to be in the world, you know, to interact with different people, have conversations with strangers. It's not the most obvious connection to your sensuality, but it's an incredible way to fire it up.
It is funny. You're sitting here talking about this and thinking about, there's something that's awkward about a sexy mom. Like, it's like something that's like, it's like a mixed thing in our culture at some level. Like, how do you be sexy with your kid right there? You know what I mean?
There's
like,
been there's so much pressure and expectations on moms. You know, don't be sexy, don't go to work. I can't believe you're not working. You know, it's like, there's mixed messages everywhere. And so I think that, you know, it's our right to feel turned on. And it's not just about sex, it's being turned on to life. It's being turned on to your own, like, inner light and magic. And I always say, like, to happy parents who are getting their love needs met, makes for happier children.
Definitely.
But it has
For
to start with
sure.
you, right? So if you're feeling exhausted, burnt out, not turned on, resentful, what are your kids gonna see?
For sure.
You know, so
Absolutely.
you can be, it doesn't have, it's not about looking sexy or wearing crazy sexy clothes. It's about finding, I think, your own unique sensual expression as a woman, again, who happens to be a mother.
Well, and being the example of a relationship and a woman that you want your children to
100%. 100%. My parents were unique in that they gave me a very open and honest education in what it meant to be a sensual being.
Yeah.
You know, my dad was like, I respect you as a sensual being. I was like, what is happening here in this conversation? I don't know. What is happening here? But it gave me the permission to understand that it's a normal, healthy, natural part of me. And my parents showed me that they never lost the passion.
That's so great.
And so I want to show our kids that we're not going to lose the passion, even though this is like the most chaotic moment in our life. And then I'm also not going to lose my love for myself. Because taking me time, nurturing myself, you know, as a woman who feels good in my body, why wouldn't I want to show my kids that?
So they can get your book, they can work with you, they can take courses?
That's right,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
My new online course is called The Satisfied Mama. It goes through the 6 pillars of satisfaction for moms. Love your post-baby body, get out of the mom zone, reawaken your libido, remove the resentment, that's a big one, revive the romance, and then reignite your sex life. And it's all available in the course. It's live right now. It's actually only live until tonight at midnight, so get in. And it's, you know, it's also a community, because community is everything for moms.
Absolutely.
You know,
So
it's
please
support.
tell everyone where they can get more information.
Yeah, you can get it at danavmyers.com/satisfied.
So awesome.
Thank you guys so much
Stay
for your
tuned. We'll
love.
be right back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
So adorable.
I'm Jasmine Moyer, host of Good Morning La La Land on EverTalk TV. As a little girl with big dreams, I couldn't stop talking. I turned that into a career of premieres and red carpets and even a talk show. And recently, I had my aha moment. I was hosting a live event. A woman who represented a national cancer support community gently pulled me aside from the glitz and the glam, and she thanked me for mentioning their program on my show. Because of those few words that I had spoke on air earlier that week, one of our viewers battling cancer reached out and got the financial and emotional support she so desperately needed. I'm so grateful to have experienced that moment, a moment that truly reflects how much conversation and community matters. We need more of what matters. It is my passion and purpose to create content and lead a conversation that will ignite the light in my community and empower them to live their best lives, starting today. I'm Jasmine Moyer, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land and hashtag Transformation Tuesday. This woman is single-handedly transforming the luxury fashion space for children. Sandra McCarrum is in the house. She is the founder of The Collective Child. So tell us a little bit about your experience with this startup.
Thank you guys so much for having me. So we launched the company about 4 years ago, and I actually did it as a side hustle while I was working full-time at Bloomingdale's in the industry. And we've actually grown significantly in the past 4 years and maintained a wait list of up to 1,500 members. We're very, very fortunate because we sort of landed in this influential marketplace, and so we've been able to scale that way.
What is The Collective Child?
Great question. So we are a personalized luxury shopping platform for children's luxury clothing. So the way that it works is you sign up and you create a profile with us, and you'll tell us your preferences as well as your kids' information. And then based on that, we will curate a selection of clothing and ship it to your house. And then you have 7 days to shop at home. Whatever you like, you keep, and whatever you don't like, you send back.
Oh, that's awesome. It's all the pain out of the shopping process, right, for parents?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. When we first started, we thought that would be it, right? Like we would be saving moms a lot of time, which obviously moms need the most. But we then ended up finding out that the way that we were servicing them was providing a vehicle of brand discovery. I think moms are missing sort of like what's the new cool brand out there, and that discovery process is actually extremely time consuming. If you think of like what your shopping process is, it's like you're scrolling page after page after page to find the perfect product. And so we facilitate that process by introducing her to emerging international brands.
So just playing little devil's advocate for a minute, we know that the clothing industry is the second largest amount of toxins, if you will, on the planet. How are you guys dealing with that? What do you see in the industry? How are we taking accountability around this?
I love you're asking that question because our members are actually very focused on that. And so we do a really great job of sourcing eco-friendly brands, whether it's Stella McCartney or other more emerging brands that are doing.
I love Stella. She's my favorite designer ever.
She's amazing. She's actually one of our top brands. But we also do a really good job of introducing our members to new brands that they might have not heard of that are actually having a good, positive impact on the environment. And then the second part is we're focused on luxury. And I think there's something that's sort of not spoken. To me, I'd rather buy a dress that will last a year, 6 months, than rather buying something that maybe costs 1/10 of the price, but won't last more than 30 days. And so it's also important to sort of reduce the amount of items that you have, maybe spend a little bit more, but I think it's a much cleaner, safer way to consume clothing.
Absolutely.
It's so hilarious. I have a funny story about this. Okay, so Bloomingdale's, I love and the whole industry. We grew up so poor in the hills of Santa Barbara in a hippie colony, and my great-grandmother would go shopping at these fancy stores, and she sent us boxes of things she had never worn before, and these glamorous things, and we were like, what is this? We're barefoot in the mountains. But I think that luxury, I completely agree with you. I think that buying one piece is so much better than buying 20 pieces of crappy clothing.
Yeah.
So I do think that there is a payback to Earth around that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Back to your journey as an entrepreneur, Sandra, because I think it's so interesting. You mentioned this was a side hustle for you, and now there is a wait list, and you're transforming the industry. How did you kind of balance that and stick true to what your vision was while it was just a side hustle?
So I think I had to maintain a lot of focus in that process, and it didn't come without sacrifice. Obviously, I had 2 full-time jobs, but ultimately I think it made me better at both. Having that perspective, and I think with women, sort of you go on this third gear, and you sort of push through some tough times, but I think we're actually exceptionally good at multitasking, and I think that proved to be right throughout that process. It was important for me to scale the company large enough so that I could sustain a salary for myself and a salary for my employees, and so that took sacrifice of a lot of weekends and a lot of nights, but ultimately it was the right decision, and I'm very, very proud of the team that we've been able to build this way.
Just fantastic. Was there any specific business practice or lesson learned along the way that really helped you turn the corner in terms of scaling the business?
Yeah, I think for me, what is always sort of close to my heart is, I think with people that are trying to start businesses, ideas are fantastic, right? Ideas can be transformative, ideas innovate, but ultimately what drives growth and success is execution. So for me, it was sort of setting a series of goals that I executed as fast as possible, and it really exposed me to what could work and mistakes that I was making along the way. So it's I think the key is executing as fast as possible and learning as much as you can from the wins and the losses in that process.
I love that.
And this dress you have on is beautiful. Who's this?
Thank you. It's Ula Johnson.
Oh, looks gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you and get Collective Child.
So you can follow us at The Collective Child on Instagram, and then sign up on thecollectivechild.com.
Great. Thank you so much. Amazing. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
It is hashtag National Sour Candy Day. We want to thank our special friends from Pucker Powder for treating us today.
Hey, what is this?
What is that?
I don't know. It's like a.
Leave it to the DIY experts.
It's a sugar hookah. This looks like what I would fill up my car with, the tires. You know, the air thing.
For those of you watching who haven't met Tanya Mimi, she is an Emmy-nominated host.
Oh my God, you're so
Southwest House, Homer Colton family. She's a DIY expert, and she's always up for a challenge. So why not give her this sour? Here we go, Tanya.
Oh, come on. Shut up.
Woo! Oh my gosh! Oh my
gosh! Come on.
She's up for it. Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are so excited to welcome writer and author Sandra Newton to the show. She's got 2 great books out right now, Angels Survive and Creatures of the Night. Tell us a little bit about your journey to really developing your voice.
Yes, well, I had moved to Los Angeles to pursue screenwriting from Texas, and my first year I was horribly sick, and I had to go back to Texas for surgeries. And over a course of a year, I was kind of like, well, what was I gonna do? You know, I wasn't filming. So I thought, well, I will write a book. So that's what I did. I wrote Angels Survive, which kind of helped me get out of bed, helped me forget about the pain medication that I was on. And then it was very successful. So I was very happy with that. I sold out at Barnes & Noble's when I started my book signing a year ago.
Great.
So I thought, I'm gonna write another book. So I wrote Creatures of the Night, which right now I am doing book touring on that. I just had a book signing Sunday on that. And just basically, I feel like doesn't matter where you are in your life, you're going to get exactly where you need to be. And now I'm back to filming, and we just finished Fate's Shadow, and have a lot of other scripts that I'm doing, and I have no infection, no surgeries, completely well.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about
you.
Angels Survive.
Yes, Angels Survive is about Diane, who comes to Los Angeles, not about me, and just kind of her journey of how she becomes a writer in the film industry. She gets connected to the bad boy of Hollywood, Chris Hendrick.
Yes, friend.
But she helps.
Person I'm writing about in the novel, yes.
But she helps transform his life instead of falling into the Hollywood trap of her losing herself, you know. So
Isn't that the dream, though? We all come here think, we'll meet that bad boy of Hollywood and we'll save him. We will be his angel. Was that ever part of your dream?
No, it was just an idea that I had. I would like to meet somebody that's not the bad boy of Hollywood. That was kind of like my dream.
That's the twist.
Right?
Oh my gosh, he's not a bad boy?
And not so becoming the bad person and myself, you know. No, but so yeah, that's basically what it's about. So I've had a lot of writers who every day I get people who want to write, like, how did you do it? How did you get started in it? You know, I was a teacher for 20 years before I started professionally writing. And I have students that come to my book signing, you know, they're like grown up now. And they're just like, how did you do this? And I'm like, the transformation is any dream that is set in your soul, if you're passionate about it, it's like your goal for exercising, your goal for your business, it doesn't matter. You're going to get there.
Yes.
It takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of sacrifices. You know, I literally had to go back home for a year. You know, I felt like, well, how am I ever going to reconnect back to Los Angeles and the life that I had? But I feel like I could not have dreamed that I would have ever be where I'm at right now in my life a year ago.
Well, I'm so happy for you and the way your life has transformed. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow and get your books.
Yes. You can get my books on Letfire, which is my publisher, and Amazon, and selected Barnes & Nobles. I also have a website, www.stacynewton.com, and yep, Creatures of the Night is what I'm doing now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Hi, I'm Dr. Erin, host of Good Morning La La on EverTalk TV. I'm a doctor of divinity, and I absolutely love being a host. And the reason why is because each day I wake up and I come into the studio and I'm always blown away by the amount of different stories coming together. My mission is to awaken 1 billion people. And I have been blown away to realize that it's not just the spiritual people, that we talk to people that are on reality TV, we talk to actors, we talk to people who have had incredible stories and trials and triumphs, and there's a common denominator between all of them. Every single person desires to have a greater life and awaken to the best life they can live. I'm Dr. Erin, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning, LaLa. I am so thrilled to have this guest here today. In Transformation Tuesday, many of us want to transform our career and business and money mindset. This gentleman, he is a New York Times bestseller. You've been at Harvard Business School. You help people basically develop their businesses. You're an entrepreneur, business builder, and become a good dear friend of mine. And we've never met in person. This is our very first time right here.
I feel like I know you, though.
I know, it's amazing. So
Awesome.
I'm so happy to have you here today. So first of all, tell us what you do exactly.
So I am a serial entrepreneur. I am actually kind of, if you look at me, I'm actually more of the record label than the artist. So I'm behind a lot of the brands, a lot of the social media people that you know, and I'm an investor in some pretty transformational companies. I love conscious capitalism, so companies that actually do good.
Right.
So
You hang out with some of the best, huge people in the transformation coaching industry. Brendan Burchard, all the big boys. I saw you on pictures with all of them. You've been over at Sundance with a few of my friends just this
I
last
saw him with Jeslyn, Erin, and Rob. I mean,
hey, this is it right here.
what else do you need?
You don't
what else
need
do you need,
anybody.
brother?
Randy, though, for those of us who aren't familiar with your journey to becoming a serial entrepreneur and a successful investor, what was that for you? What was the moment that transformed your life?
You know, it's really interesting because I grew up in a small little farming community in Idaho. So Sugar City, Idaho. It's a very sweet place. It's just outside of Jackson Hole. And so I think for me, I've always loved coaching and training people. And when I started our first business, we were juniors in college when Ethan and I first started, and we started doing all of these big events for Nightingale Conant. We did all of the coaching and training for Zig Ziglar and Dennis Waitley, and so everybody that was early transformational personal development. And we grew that company very, very huge. And so we were kind of like, we were the intel inside for a lot of them. We built all of the coaching and training. We ended up selling that company, and that's where I really love the transformation of people. We live in a very interesting time where, for me, it was, you kind of have to learn how to build the ship while you're floating. And so a lot of people wait. I was 22 years old and we were building a massive company. We'd walk into boardrooms and we're like, hey, when are all the smart people going to show up? And then we're like, hey, we're here. You know, at 23, 22 years, you don't know any better. And then we just exploded with growth. So I think a lot of times it's just that belief that you have in yourself. Once you get that, and once you find what I call the Polaris point, you can really take off.
Right. What's the Polaris point?
Okay, so the Polaris point in my book, Prosper, it's actually, prosperity is the balance between money, happiness, and sustainability. But you find your Polaris point, it's like, what was your divine design? And so when you know that track, you have to follow that. And nothing can stop you. Nobody can tell you don't do that, because you know, when you find that, that's the hardest thing in the world to do, but that's a Polaris point. When you know what you were created to do, go do that.
I like this.
Yes. How did you discover yours?
Actually, it is a journey, and I think a lot of it for me is a lot of looking inside, and I think journaling is huge. I journal. I'm a huge journaler. I've got so many journals. But I also think prayer and meditation is probably my best tip of all.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's pretend someone's found their Polaris point. They've done their inner work, they've done their journey, they know. Now, what you suggest as someone who understands business, you understand a lot of this stuff, what would you say is the strategy for someone?
The strategy for somebody, I always say that if you don't have your strategy on one page, you don't have a strategy. So I think having a very clear architectural design of what you want to create for your life. There's a really awesome book that I just read called Playing Bigger. Too many people out there are playing so small when they could be transforming, they could be actually changing more lives. But the simplicity of a one-page strategy is so beautiful.
I need you in my life. I feel this. I'm feeling this connection. You're amazing. You've been doing so many things. So tell everyone else, what else are you up to? You've got book, New York Times bestseller. You've been like Young Entrepreneur of the Year, like all this. I mean, you've done everything. What are you doing right now? Like, what exactly are you working on? I know you were speaking at a big event yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we were just at a big women's entrepreneur event, which I love it that you're promoting, women in business. It's so huge right now.
Huge.
And I think right now, what I love doing is I love helping people to get their voice and their message out. Whether that be a company like Parachute's, a company that I've invested in, it's conscious capitalism. They're actually transforming. You've got Ubers, you've got Netflix. They're actually building a huge company with being able to have the Netflix of things. So instead of creating 10,000 hammers, you can create one hammer for the whole village.
It's all about accessibility, right? Not necessarily ownership.
It's about accessibility, and it's actually about utilization, maximum utilization, so we don't overconsume stuff. And we don't need to own everything to have everything nowadays.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I love this. That's so exciting. So this is where we're going in all of our businesses, basically where we can reuse, repurpose everything.
Yeah, there's also another really fun book. If you want to know kind of one of my journeys, the book that I read in '99 was called The Experience Economy by Joseph Pine. He predicted that we will soon be in what's called the transformation economy, which there's going to be those that are seeking transformation and those that are teaching transformation.
Yes, we are definitely going there.
And when you said this is Transformation Tuesday, that's really what my passion is like, how do we move to that next phase? We are in it, and those that learn how to do it, it can be very magical. And so it's really, I think if it's like, how do I help as many people really make a transformation in their life is what my true passion is.
That's your mission.
That's my mission, and a business model around it. So a lot of people can teach transformation, but how do you capitalize on it?
So what's your ideal client? If someone you're working with is a big business, is it someone that's an individual? Who's your ideal client that you work with?
It's a CEO that is building a business that is making a massive impact. And so, because I only live once, or it's somebody like Brendan Burchard and the Rachel Halses that are really just exploding out there into why they've actually learned how to make a business out of that, and that's going to continue to grow. Just like you guys are going to continue to explode and grow, there are ways to do that very profitably and actually that make a massive difference in this world.
Fantastic.
So cool.
So of course, people are going to want to work with you.
Yep.
How do they find you, follow you? How do they work with you?
You can just go to randygarn.com. Is the easiest
It's
way
very
to do it.
Yeah.
So nice to meet you. I'm so excited for all the work you're doing. Stay tuned. We're
Well,
going
we will
to
be right back.
We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV, on Apple TV, and Roku.
That's right. We are waking up the world together. You guys have a Transformation Tuesday and have a divine day with all the amazing people in your life.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.